It's an honor to be the vice chair of the Congressional Access to Legal Aid Caucus. But I think those of you that we've met before, you know that I was with you long before this. The mission that you're on is incredibly important. I want to offer a special thank you to the LSC for holding this briefing and for all your work to provide the most vulnerable in our society with equal access to justice. Now, as Gloria told you, I have the privilege of representing Minnesota's 6th Congressional District. And as she let you know, prior to my public service, and in fact, during my public service, my background was in the legal profession as a lawyer. I attended William Mitchell College of Law. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, it did produce one Supreme Court Justice, Warren Burger, who was famous for saying, "You can get there from here." After law school, as Gloria told you, I actually went on to open my own law firm in practice for over 20 years. At different times, I was licensed in Minnesota, Wisconsin, North Dakota, and I was also admitted to practice in the federal courts and the U.S. Supreme Court. I have a great appreciation and respect for the legal field and everyone who's involved in this this incredible profession. And I'm blown away by the great work that so many of you do every day, and especially now, as John was talking about during COVID. In fact, let me begin by saying thank you. Thank you for the work that you do, for the important role that you play in our justice system, and for your passion for legal aid. Americans are in desperate need of advocates, lawyers like many of you who fight every day to keep families from being uprooted and displaced. I often say that I don't like lawyer jokes, and it's because I truly believe the work of this profession is noble and deserving of respect. And I've said it more than once. It's amazing. People like to make fun of lawyers until they need one, and then they desperately want the best lawyer they can find. Not only are you advocates for those in need, but you actively contribute to the system of laws and fair representation that is the underpinning of our democracy. Today, I'm proud to join you for the first time with this new fancy title. And as a member of this caucus, by the way, since I joined Congress, I've consistently supported additional funding for LSC. Expanded access to legal aid is a priority of mine, and I'm proud that I'll be among the voices here today standing up in Congress to support it. I look forward to working with our leadership team. I've worked with Representative Fitzpatrick and Representative Scanlon in the past, and I look forward to collaborating on our shared passion for legal aid. Before I continue, I do want to thank and acknowledge former Representatives Joe Kennedy and Susan Brooks for their past leadership of this caucus. They were outstanding advocates for legal aid in the caucus, and Congress will miss their advocacy on this issue. Representative Kennedy and I also shared a passion for advancing mental health policies and developing more understanding on the need for mental health care in our communities. I look forward to working with Jake Auchincloss, who took Joe's place in Congress and has expressed an interest in this important field. As you can tell from the past and current leadership of this caucus, the nature of legal aid and the passion behind it are purely nonpartisan. We have many new members on both sides of the aisle this year, and I look forward to spreading the message about the Congressional Access to Legal Aid Caucus. And I'm sorry, Gloria, John, I keep sliding back into the old name, but I look forward to spreading the message of the Congressional Access to Legal Aid Caucus and the Legal Services Corporation's mission. I'm extremely lucky in Minnesota to have outstanding legal aid centers. I'd like to highlight, for instance, the work of the Central Minnesota Legal Services and Southern Minnesota Regional Legal Services operations. I know later today you will be hearing from their CEO, Jesse Nicholson, and I'm glad that a leading voice like hers is part of this discussion. As you will all discuss throughout the day, the COVID-19 pandemic has had significant impacts on every sector of our lives, but our state courts and the people you represent every day have been hit especially hard. The continuing impact has resulted in an increase of housing and eviction cases. As you serve those in desperate need of housing security and legal assistance, I will, and I know my colleagues will, do whatever we can to support LSC's request for relief funding. As you have fought for those most affected by this pandemic, your government should assist your efforts. Legal aid funding should be an important piece of our recovery plan. As millions of Americans face housing insecurity due to job loss and pandemic-related financial instability, you become more essential than ever. I'm, again, deeply proud to be a lawyer, and I'm proud of what we do to honor the rule of law and to ensure that all Americans are treated fairly and equally under our laws. I believe your reputation for providing legal assistance to those in need reflects well for all of us who care deeply about the access and quality of legal services in our justice system. So I want to thank you again for the work that each of you do every day to advocate for those most in need. And if I can ever be of assistance to you, please don't hesitate to reach out.